realized as I was listening to the gospel that I don't think I turned my microphone on when we were praying over John. So if those who are online were wondering what I was doing, we were instituting a new lector into the community of lectors in our parish because he was going to be on last week. And of course, with everything going on, everything's off schedule. So we prayed over John Sligo and welcomed him into the ministry of lector here in the parish. Remember that great legend of Arthur and the sword and the stone? You know, the story goes that the wizard Merlin creates this test, right, in the midst of the turmoil in England about who was fit to be king after the death of King Uther Pendragon. Right? And Merlin designs a huge stone to be placed in the churchyard at Westminster, with a sword buried deep in an anvil atop the stone, with the inscription on it, "Whoso pulleth out this sword from this stone is rightwise king born of England." And then many nobles, remember, many nobles come to try to pull the sword, but none could do it. The sword in the stone was saved for young Arthur, secretly son of the dead king, but more importantly, a young man of pure heart and mind, given the wisdom to rule England with compassion and justice. And so, gathered in front of a crowd at the age of 15, Arthur easily pulls the sword from the stone. St. Peter could be reflected by Arthur. As we heard in the second reading, when he writes of Christ, "Come to him, a living stone, rejected by human beings, but chosen and precious in the sight of God. For it says in Scripture, 'Behold, I am laying a cornerstone, chosen and precious, and whoever believes in it shall not be put to shame.' Therefore, its value is for you who have faith. But for those without faith, a stone that will make people stumble. They stumble when they do not heed the word of God. No matter how hard they may try, they cannot get the sword out of the stone." In the ancient story of Camelot, Merlin is the teacher who shows Arthur the way to what is good. It is a story often repeated that is first told to us with the Word of God as teacher. The Word made flesh. The Word that struggles to reveal itself fully in Jesus Christ. But like the sword stuck in the stone, not everyone gets it. "Have I been with you for so long a time, you do not still know me, Philip?" You can hear the frustration of Jesus, which follows Thomas's statement, "Master, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Of course, the Word made flesh is the answer. "I am the way," he says. In that English legend, the sword and the stone reveal truth. In the Word of God, it is written in the letter to the Hebrews, "The Word of God is living and effective, sharper than any two-edged sword, penetrating between soul and spirit, joints and marrow, and able to discern reflections and thoughts of the heart. No creature is concealed from him, but everything is naked and exposed exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must render an account. We are exposed to his compassionate eyes. Thus, the word says to us, do not let your hearts be troubled. You have faith in God. Have faith also in me. The word reveals the truth, the way, and the life. This one who calls us, as St. Peter puts it, out of darkness into his wonderful light. And the very next line in that passage is, once you were no people, now you are God's people. If we know that and embrace that truth, we can go forth unafraid, no matter what. When we embrace that truth, that we are God's people, and conduct ourselves as though we are God's people, we can pull the sword from the stone, and the world changes, and we can do the works of the Father. Amen, amen, I say to you, whoever believes in me will do the works that I do, and will do greater ones than these, because I am going to the Father, Jesus says. And when Jesus goes to the Father, they entrust his works to us.